Well, how's everybody doing? This is Jon Croft from Culture Warfare with Jon Croft, and I am Jon Croft, and I'm a little sick today, but that's okay. I can still talk a little bit. How are you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing good. I'm doing quite well.
Better than
And
I
I'm
am.
sorry you're under the weather.
Hmm. What I want to know is who isn't under the weather. I think we're all under the weather, which is taking place above us. Pretty sure.
Usually weather is not below us. That's
Yeah.
true.
Don't you think? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Why would anyone think that they're above the weather? You're not above it all. What do you think? You're above this snowstorm or whatever you're experiencing? No. And apparently neither is my health. So right now I've been uh hoping to make it through and get good night's sleeps last few days. And I did get one last night. That was good.
Okay.
But did you want to ask me something, Rebecca?
I did. What media have you been experiencing this week?
Oh yes.
You could just read my mind, can't you?
I knew it. I knew there was a question in there. And I knew it was about me. ME, media experiences. That's right. That's what it stands for. It's all about me. No, I'll be asking you that question in a second too. So, but yes, our main topic will be one of my media experiences, which is the best Christmas pageant ever. And also there's I think there's a clip from the first, I think 8 minutes of Homestead, which just came out today, I believe. Homestead, the new Angel film, which is a post-apocalyptic kind of survival movie. So a family survives. I think the setting is starts in California, but then they go to Colorado to survive, and they have this place, I guess they call the homestead, and they go there to survive some kind of attack happening on our country. And so there's some things to be said, but we'll talk about that in a second. How about you, Rebecca? Have you had any media experiences this week?
Yeah, well, it's Christmas, so I'm trying to get in all my Christmas media experiences. But
Yeah.
um, but I'm
Didn't
kind of
you?
excited. I just got this book in the mail. It's on the Incarnation by Saint Athanasius with an introduction by C.S. Lewis.
Yes.
And I'm pretty excited about it. It's about Emmanuel, God with us, and um
Hmm.
the meaning of God becoming a man and coming to earth to dwell among us. So some of my favorite topics to talk about. So it's a pretty small book. Most of this is introduction. Uh, Um,
Hmm.
so I'm excited to read it. But also, I've been listening to it's called the official 2023 Sufjan Stevens Yule log on YouTube. And it is almost 5 hours of Christmas music by him.
Wow.
A lot of it is like traditional, but it's mixed in with newer, like, you know, indie, folky, indie, poppy, and it's really good. It's
Cool.
really enjoyable to listen to. He's got like 10 Christmas albums,
Wow.
and they're very listenable. So
Good.
um,
Good, good.
I recommend it.
This is going to be hard if I have to mute my mic every time I clear my throat.
You can do this.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to necessarily make the sound go away. Uh, but yeah, we could talk about oh, didn't you also see the Simon's Cat Christmas
Oh, yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
I
Simon's
heard that
Cat,
was cute.
the 12 Days of Christmas. I just watched that with my kids. It was really funny. And it's been on YouTube for a while. It's like 5 years old. I don't know why I try this every single time and it
Yeah,
never works.
you try, but
Oh, there we go.
it's still going to be super hard to see. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Um,
then you'll just have to trust me. It's on YouTube
you know what
and
I should do is
pretty funny.
I should get you any, I should ask for any links from you before we even start. Most
Mm.
quality shows would do that, but we're not
Mm.
one of those shows. We're one of those different kinds of shows
Homespun
that are
shows.
not prepared. You know, those shows you see that are not prepared. That's us. No, I think one of the things is we were always kind of like not trying to surprise each other, but we were not telling each other what our media experiences were going to be, so that when we asked each other, we were kind of, I guess we did tell each other a few times before, but oftentimes we don't tell each other, and we're just kind of like, we know that the other person's going to have something, but we don't really know what that's going to be. So it's actually a surprise for the most part.
Yeah.
But I suppose there's probably some skillful way we could still share links or whatever. You could probably we could probably find a way to share a link literally while we're doing the show,
Yeah.
and then I could bring it up or something. I don't know.
In the chat.
Yeah, in the chat, as they say.
I
Um,
could do it right now.
can you?
Yeah. Let's see. I gotta go to my YouTube history and I'm gonna share this with
This
you.
is highly unconventional.
I know.
Actually, it's probably very conventional. We just don't do it. Oh man.
I just shared a link with you in the chat.
Oh wow, it actually showed up. Let's share. Let's see if we can share it. Here we go. Uh, there we go. So there's Simon's Cat, 12 Days of Christmas. Can you see it, Rebecca?
I can, yeah.
Oh, good. Let's play like a second of it. It's pretty cute.
Yep. It's really funny. And my kids were cracking up. They loved it.
Oh, I think I've. There we go.
Oh, oh no.
Of course. That's so great.
Our 8-year-old was like, he's not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I have to say that when I came out into the living room and making cat sounds,
Yep.
I did not know it was from this, but then when you told me, I was like, he's totally making those cat sounds.
Yep.
Yep, he was mimicking this cat. It was really cute.
Our 5-year-old was
He's great
pretending
at
to be the cat.
he's great at this. Yeah, he's great at like mimicking cats. Of course, it does that stuff all the time too. But they're like two birds of a feather. So yeah, we might as well play some of the Homestead stuff as well.
Hmm.
It's an 8 minute clip,
Okay.
but we'll just play like a little bit of the beginning. It's pretty good looking.
Yeah.
Kuya! 15 nautical miles na ang layo natin sa Queen's Gate. Nandito na tayo. Kumanda ka na. Sige na, ano pang hingi na tayo mo? Dalihan mo! Hoy, anong problema mo? Anong problema mo? Okay ka ba? Nangako tayo. Huwag mong kalimutan. Isipin mo ang pamilya mo. Kaya mo. Kuya, nahuli na tayo, kuya! Sige na! Hanapin mo na! Kuya, anong gagawin natin, kuya? Hanapin mo na! Dalihan mo yan!
Oh, you know what the blinky lights mean? You know what the blinky lights mean and the Geiger counter sounds. And you saw the symbols. Um, could you make that out, honey?
Um, do they have a bomb on board?
Yeah, it looks like a nuclear symbol and stuff on there. But yeah, that's the first 2 minutes and a half of the movie.
So we talked about this before. They're releasing a movie and a show.
Yes. They're releasing the movie first, and then they're continuing. I think they're continuing the beginning that you're seeing in the theater, in the series, in the
Wow.
continuing series. So I think that's how they're doing it.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the pilot. I think that they're releasing the pilot basically in theaters,
Hmm.
and then you're going to get to see the continuing series on the Angel app. So what I do know about this, and this is really revealed in the trailer anyway, is that some kind of bomb goes off the coast of California, and then this family escapes and goes to Colorado to survive on what they call the Homestead, and it's about their journey of survival, whether they should help people, you know, or not. It's kind of like I think it's kind of like the Walking Dead in that way. It's about like, how much you can trust other people when you're in a difficult situation and people are fighting to survive. And so that kind of culture, the the culture you make with people around you is what really matters now. It's not like people, I think a lot of people would say that being a prepper and providing all of your needs and your family's needs beforehand is the most important thing. And I would actually disagree with that. I think that what's most important is building together with a culture of other people, building something with a culture that's Christ-like and and strong. And so the kind of strength required to make a community like that has a lot more to do with trusting leaders than you think. Like, and so the kind of culture that that leader upholds is going to either engender trust or it's going to alienate other people. And so, and this is you can see this in The Walking Dead as well as many other shows about kind of dystopian situations, apocalyptic possible futures, things like this, is that what's true typically, and like I mentioned The Walking Dead a second ago. What's true in The Walking Dead is that the story eventually is no longer about the zombies. The story, and it really, you arguably you could say it never was about the zombies. The story is always about the brutality of man, and that your fellow man are likened then to zombies and are even more dangerous than the zombies around you when you don't really have a common culture with those people, when you don't really have a community that is built on love and concern, but also reasonable strength and law, law that's reasonable and something that you can believe in and trust in. And so when people don't really have that kind of fabric in their community, that's strong but also trustworthy and even kind, then you're just not going to survive. It doesn't really matter how many goods you have or how well you've prepared. All those things can be taken away from you if you're not a good, trustworthy person, or if you trust others that are untrustworthy foolishly. So I think that's a great message to learn and understand. And where we fail to do that, like all of the work we do, it doesn't really matter much in the end when you're looking at those kind of odds, all those things really don't matter. So, um, what do you think about that, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you want to have peace.
Yeah,
And if you can't, if you don't have culture and you don't have trust or community is the word I was looking for. If you don't have community, um, then you're not having peace.
right.
So,
You can't
and
have
that's
you
bad.
can't have peace.
And that's
That's for
bad for your health. So, so you're not surviving.
that's right. You could die quicker of cancer or something.
Yeah, you could literally die of stress because you don't have community in the end times.
Well, that's in our world we have now, right? And right now we're worried about those kinds of things. But if in this situation, right, you can't even survive like very much time at all, your own goods will be taken away you know, or or you'll feel the need to take away someone else's goods in order to survive yourself. So, you know, it's just kind of how the cookie crumbles with human beings. And so, what I want to see how that goes down on the show. I hope it's a good show. I mean, there's some other shows I really liked. There was one I really liked. I liked it as much as The Walking Dead, if not more, actually, because it was a little bit more of a melodrama, and not as I don't think there was as much money in the series, but it was called what was the name? See, I know I don't even remember the name of it. Jericho. Jericho. That's what it was called. It was a town like I don't even remember which state it was in, like Kansas or something. I don't remember, but like somewhere in the middle in middle USA, and similar kind of beginning to it. And then it's about this town trying to survive enemy invaders. And there's a lot of good acting in it. There's a lot of interesting characters. It's kind of like I think it's early 2000s. And I really enjoyed it. I think it came out about the time of Lost, that Lost series. Um, but yeah, that was a really good one.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, it was good. We should see it sometime. It's fun. But yeah, so Homestead, that's in theaters now, I think. I probably came out tonight. Um, but I also saw I went on a date with my daughter and we saw the best Christmas pageant ever. Let's see that trailer really quick. Um, let's see.
Which was a book that she had read already.
Yes, she had read it already. Um,
For as long as I can remember, our little town has loved Christmas. And nothing is more important than our annual Christmas pageant.
The pageant is sacred.
Special mention to Grace for volunteering to direct the pageant.
But this year, the Herdmans changed everything.
Now. The Herdmans are absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. Hey!
Give it up, Charlie!
You ready for this? I'm gonna be in your Bible play. This is gonna be a real disaster.
That's the spirit. Would anyone like to volunteer for Mary and Joseph?
Who's Mary? Baby Jesus' mom?
Elmer, you usually like playing Joseph. Suppose that's that then.
The Herdmans shouldn't be here.
They're a poor influence. It might be the first Christmas pageant in history where Joseph and the wise men get in a fight and Mary hightails it with the baby.
$5 say they burned down the manger.
This year, we get to be someone else. Live a different life. Become someone new.
Why are they still here?
Jesus was born for the Herdmans as much as he was for us. We'll be missing the whole point now if we turn them away.
I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Because Mary and Joseph weren't so sure either.
She's crying. Mary's crying.
It's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever. Today we're going to ignore everything except blood.
Oh, what? Come on! Come on!
Now that's a pageant I'd actually like to see.
Yep. It was good, and we did see it, and wow, I was really pleased with it. I think it was great for kids. I mean, my daughter um really enjoyed it, and she was a good age for it, I think. Um, it was it wasn't like for example, like you could compare it to A Christmas Story, but I think A Christmas Story had some more mature themes in it, which this one didn't have those kinds of iffy situations where you're like, I wonder if my child is going to understand any of this, and if they do, I hope not, because then I'll have to explain it, you know. There's nothing like that. I really think he did a great job on this film. It's almost a new Christmas classic. I would go so far as to say that. I think it's probably the first faith-based Christmas film I would recommend. And I don't even know if I've seen another faith-based Christian Christmas film. Um, there, which is kind of disturbing that you'd think that the faith-based genre would be putting out Christmas movies every year that work on getting the right combination of, the right formula of Christmas cheer going on, because it's such an important holiday for Christians. Um, but no, this is probably the best faith-based Christmas film I've seen. Um, you saw some of the visuals in the trailer. It's it's good. It's very much, it has kind of the foggy lens. like a Christmas story. It has kind of that feel like it took place in like the late 70s or something. Like it has that kind of feel like there's probably like shag carpets in some of those scenes. Like it's got that kind of thing to it. It's got a very traditional vibe to the church they were at. Um, it's sweet, you know. There's moments where, you know, you're really impressed with a lot of these kid actors, and they're making scenes that are very charming and funny. The editing is good. Where a lot of faith-based films don't have the best editing, it can be clunky. This was pretty good. It was smooth. The scenes were happening smoothly. Things made sense. Like there weren't weird scenes in acting that didn't make sense. There was nothing like that. It was fun. Like I literally had a tear. I teared up in the end because it was just so charming. Um, and so it hit all those beats. It really did well in that way. Um, let's see. See, before I mention any negative things, oh my goodness, the lead, uh,
The Herdman girl.
yeah, the lead Herdman girl, she did an excellent job. I was really like, this girl is a hotshot little actress. Like she knows what she's doing. She had that kind of steely look, like
Yeah.
which is what her job it really is to be. Um, but she was also like a mothering figure to her siblings. So
Yeah.
she accomplished both of those things, and that made her role as Mary make a lot more sense. So when she felt emotions playing the role of Mary, you were like, yeah, I can see that, right? Because she literally had personal experience taking care of her own siblings.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and they really made it believable that she wanted to act like they really did. Um, because there's that little scene in the trailer where she's like, we can play other people. And she did that in a way where you were really like, yeah, because she just doesn't like her situation and she wants to play somebody else for 5 minutes, which I don't know if you've known many actors. Well, you have, and I've known quite a few, but like there's something really cool about actors where something happens to them when they play someone else. Like they really gain catharsis from that and learn things, you know. And actors are just made to do that. Like it's acting is just such a strange profession
Mhm.
that like only God could make an actor.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like only God could make someone an actor because it's such a strange profession. Like why would anyone want to be someone else? It kind of doesn't make sense, right? Because God wants us to love ourselves and to love being ourselves. He wants us to appreciate ourselves and to be happy with who you are as a human being. But there's something about acting where when you're somebody else for 5 minutes, you actually gain a greater appreciation for yourself, if that makes any sense. And also, there's something amazing that happens, I think, in the heart of an actor or in the mind of an actor when they successfully accomplish that goal. I don't know, it's like they've lived a mile in someone's shoes in on another level. Like, I don't know what it is, but I find actors just to be amazing people. And I could not do that, but I love witnessing actors doing that. And I just think it's a cool transformation, you
Yeah.
know. But she just seems like a born actor. Um, and so many other kid actors were great as well. Let's see. Like I said, the visuals were great. The camera work was great. They even did some good movement shots, which a lot of faith-based films can't do. They did some interesting stuff. There was a few great cameos from uh, people like who act in The Chosen, such as uh, the the lady who plays Mary Magdalene.
Mhm.
What's her name again? She was great. She was funny. The lady who played Mary, Mother Mary, was good. She did a great job. And the lady who played like the very stern woman who's like not friendly. There were two of them who were doing that, kind of filling that role. Actually, there were three, but the third one was less prominent. But the two women, I remember, forget the character names, but they were so good with just how stern they were and unflinching and try to uphold like the traditions of the church, and they were like frightening. You were just like, oh my goodness, and I don't want to upset these ladies. Um, and so I've seen so many women in churches this way who are
Mhm.
just like, you're not going to bring the riffraff in our church. And so they did an excellent job as well. And by the end of the movie, one of them just really responded in a positive way to what happened. And so it was very believable. It was a believable transformation. But I guess now I could mention the negatives of the movie, but I'll try to be brief about it. There was a scene in which it appeared like the pastor hit on the lady who was running the play, hit on the lead lady. And I was kind of disturbed by that. Um, and that's if you see the film, you'll probably see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think if anything, any faith-based filmmaker should be very understanding of the fact that you shouldn't show a scene of a pastor kind of being too nice to one of the ladies in their church. A little too nice, right? Uh, you don't want, least of all, do you want, besides even the Christians who don't like that, you don't want an atheist going, yep, yep, that's what church is like. Yep. Like this is what we think churches are going to be, playing into the trope of an abusive pastor who uses, I guess people would call that a power dynamic, uses the power dynamic to, you know, hit on um, one of the ladies in their church. Not a good look, not a good idea to have that in a movie. I think what they were trying to do, and I think I even mentioned to you, I think I mentioned this to you before, but it was like they could have done something else with that because I can tell what they were trying to do. They were trying to show that the pastor could really see what she was doing and was supportive of her, right, in what she was doing. But there's so many different ways you could show that. You don't have to show it in
Yeah.
that particular way. In fact, you could do it the way an actual church should do it, which is that the wife of the pastor should be supportive to her instead of the pastor himself. That's what you have the wives of pastors for, right? The pastor doesn't have to do that. He can get his wife to do that, you know? Um, so that's an easy thing they could have done. Or you know what? They could have actually showed him being supportive maybe in a way he shouldn't have, and then stop and go, oh, I feel awkward now, right? Or show a scene where they both feel awkward and they know they shouldn't be doing that. And then they're like, okay, and they give each other cold pats on the arm and then walk away, right? That's actually funny if you perform it correctly and you're letting the audience know that they both know they shouldn't be getting too friendly, right? So there's lots of different ways you could do that, but they didn't do that. They made it seem like that was natural or normal to happen in a church, and it's just not normal for them to do that. So I think a filmmaker, a Christian filmmaker, has to be careful that they're not opening up the possibility of getting, criticized for a scene that I don't know. Maybe I'm spending too much time on this, but it's like I think a filmmaker could easily find another way to go around that issue, which is an actual bad issue that we find in real churches, and instead show the church as it should be shown, which is, I think, a little bit of a more traditional, um, more wise church than that. They're a little smarter than that. They're not going to do that kind of thing. Um, oh, there was something else too about it that I didn't like. What was it? Did
You
I
were
bring?
saying
Yeah,
at the end, one of the characters broke the fourth wall.
they broke the fourth wall.
Mhm.
And I think it was actually the writer, or maybe it was like they got a cameo in the movie, something like that. I don't know. The actress in the end was she was narrating the story, right? And but you never saw her, right? She was supposed to represent the daughter, who was the daughter of the mother. And she was kind of like telling the story later on in her life to other people. And so you could kind of tell it was her, but she obviously sounded older. She sounded like an adult now. But they didn't show her face until the end. And so all of these things occurred, and then in the end, um, she's kind of like talking to other kids to become part of the play in the end of the movie. I don't think this is much of a spoiler, really, by the way. But it did bother me because, it was supposed to be kind of a heartfelt, like we live the legacy of this church and playing this great play, doing this great nativity story play every year. And now you can be part of this. And so they're living that. It was like, showing you the legacy of that church in the end, which was kind of sweet, but it just felt very kind of like tacked on. It felt very unnecessary. And then it showed her breaking the fourth wall in the very last, the literally the last scene. She breaks the fourth wall. And that was just even more unnecessary. Like it was not necessary to the story whatsoever. It didn't it didn't make me happier to see the movie. Like, I think when you're doing well in a movie, you just keep doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't add too much. Don't get into like cameo stuff. Don't get into like this kind of cutesy stuff where it's just too you're just trying to up the cuteness level too much. It's like you're trying too hard. So I think that last scene was just trying a little too hard, and it took me out of the movie. Of course, it's a good time to be taken out of a movie at the last scene, right? That is, you could say that's if there is the right time to be taken out of the movie, it's in the last scene. But I think that for a film that's supposed to be a Christian classic movie, you don't want to ever be taken out of the movie. You want to live in that winter wonderland, right? It's like It's a Wonderful Life or some other classic Christmas tale. You want that world to be the real world and our world to not be existing anymore. Like you just want to live in that world. That to me is what should have occurred, right? A Christmas story is kind of like that. It's like another world that doesn't really exist, you know, even though it supposedly exists in time, right? In the past, it's really like this make-believe world, and it's just very charming in that way. And you kind of want to be there. You want to eat their terrible fruitcake that they have in the Christmas story. Like you just want to experience that, you know? Or like, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You want to hang out with Clark Griswold for 5 minutes as he burns the tree down or something and just laugh. Like that's what you want to do. You want to be there, to laugh at that. And this is a similar situation. You just want to be part of that church, watching these kids try to make this play and going like, "Oh my goodness, this is terribly funny, actually." Just seeing them try to make this story, and I don't want to be ever taken out of this story, And so I think I just think that it was a mistake to do that. But other than that, oh my goodness, it was a great movie. It was very charming. I really want to buy the DVD for future viewing, like for next Christmas. And I think the rest of the family should see it. It was great. It was a really great movie. It was a lot of fun. Um, it was good, clean fun, right? It's like the kind of town you'd want to live in, and you want to know these people, even though they're a little bit stuffy, and it's the Christmas play is a little too important to them. That's okay. I've known the people this way, and they're the kind of people you actually do want to know, you know? Um, but
Yeah.
yes, so I think
I
it's a
I
good faith-based movie.
I actually wasn't there. I don't know if we made that clear in the beginning. I wasn't there. It was just it was just Johnny and our daughter who went and saw it. So I didn't get to see it, and I haven't even read the book. We started off as a doing it as a read aloud, where I was going to read it out loud to my daughter, and I don't know if I think I just accidentally left it in her room, and she wound up reading the whole book
Yeah.
and loved it. So we got really excited to hear that Dallas Jenkins was making a movie about it, but I still haven't read it.
Yeah.
So
It turned out really well. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like God planned that out for us because I don't know. Relationships with your kids is really important. And every now and then I feel like God gives us a moment with our kids where we can just kind of enjoy our relationship with them.
yeah.
And didn't you have one of those experiences today with our daughter, um, honey?
You mean when we went shopping?
Yes, you and her went shopping today.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things where daughters can do with their moms on Christmas.
Yeah, there's this idea of, I don't know where it came from, this idea of dating your kids.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where, the parent, like one parent takes out one kid
Hmm.
on a somewhat regular basis just to kind of spend time with them, make a connection with them, and say, do something fun with them and say, what's on your mind? Like, let's just
Yep.
get in a new environment, a new
Hmm.
setting where you're not just at home with them and, relax a little bit and say, like, tell me what are you into these days? Or what's on your minds?
Yeah, you're kind of making a connection as it comes to the interests that you think that they have right now.
Yeah,
And
it's a great idea.
it is. It doesn't have to be high pressure. It could just be like an hour or two with them. And it's just so worth it. I think that's so worth it to God when we do that with our kids. I think he wants us to do those kinds of things. And so it keeps your relationship strong. I think especially as the kids get older,
Yeah,
as they become more closer to adulthood. I think you don't want to lose the actual friendship with them because it can tend to be about like your authority as a parent to them. And I think as you get older, it should be more about just talking with them, you know, where you have a rapport with them and where they respect your opinion, right? They learn to respect your opinion instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to upset mommy or daddy. No, it becomes like you're respecting each other, having a real
yeah,
relationship. So it's a good time of year to do that with your family. So, So yeah, that's our little talk today. I hope that you guys got something out of this. I really, you know, I guess I did want to talk about more, but I'm okay with this because I am super sick. So I hope I get some sleep tonight. And hopefully I won't feel like this at Christmas. That would be a little rough. But Christmas is in less than a week, so this will be our last episode before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you all, and I hope you have a great time with family and that you're making a difference in the world somehow. And if you're not making a difference out in the world, at least do that with your kids and with your family. So we love you guys and stand up for the culture. And is there anything you wanted to say before we go, Rebecca?
Merry
No.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we love you. And we'll see you next week. Bye.